इंडिया में काफ़ी लोग दे वांट अ फेयर चाइल्ड. क्या फिजिकल फीचर्स भी हम मैनिफेस्ट कर सकते हैं?
Okay, I'll give you a straight away answer. Whether we can do that, yes, we can do that.
किसी का बैकग्राउंड नेगेटिव है, किसी के घर में बहुत ज़्यादा बीमारियां रही हैं, कैंसर रहा है, आर्थराइटिस रहा है, बीपी रहा है, तो बहुत ज़्यादा चांसेस हैं कि बच्चों को भी वही मिलेगा. तो क्या इस प्रोसेस से क्या हम ये अवॉइड कर सकते हैं?
Definitely this can be done. That's where the significance of Garbha Sanskara actually come. Now this is like a transition time. We have got these 9 beautiful months where by inculcating all these values, you are removing all that is not required for us. Anchal, you told that you will be showing some amazing magic. Can you do some small magic for me today?
Okay, let me do something with the cards.
Oh my God, this is astonishing and amazing.
वो कहते हैं ना, छतरी, पैराशूट और दिमाग तभी काम करता है जब खुले हों. तो मेरी आप सब से विनम्र विनती यही है कि आज की कॉन्वर्सेशन को अपनी सारे सेट ऑफ बिलीव्स, सारी प्री कंसीव नोशंस हटाकर सुनने की कोशिश कीजिएगा, क्योंकि आज की कॉन्वर्सेशन होने वाली है बहुत यूनिक एंड डिफरेंट. नमस्ते एवरीवन, आप सबका स्वागत है टू इंडियाज फर्स्ट मैजिकल पॉडकास्ट. वेलकम टू माय ऑल न्यू शो कॉल्ड होकस फोकस विद आंचल. एंड आज की हमारी गेस्ट हैं डॉक्टर चंद्रलेखा, हु इज़ अ योगा एंड नेचुरोपैथी फिजिशियन एंड अ गर्भ संस्कार कोच. उन्होंने थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पेशेंट्स ट्रीट किए हैं व्हेन इट कम्स टू ट्रीटिंग लाइफस्टाइल डिसऑर्डर्स, एंड शी हैज़ अ ह्यूज ऑनलाइन कम्युनिटी ऑफ सुपर मॉम्स जिनको वो कहती हैं मातृ देवो भव. एंड उनका मिशन है कि जो ओल्ड एज एंशियंट स्किल है वो उन्हें मॉडर्न डेज में लेकर आएँ और सब में बांटें. वेल, आप सोच रहे होंगे कि ये गर्भ संस्कार कोच क्या होता है और ये गर्भ संस्कार क्या होता है. जब मैंने उनके बारे में सुना तो मैं भी यही सोच रही थी कि ये कैसी कला है और ये कैसा प्रोफेशन है. वेल, गर्भ संस्कार एक ऐसी कला है जब एक लेडी प्रेग्नेंट होती है, उनके पेट में जो बच्चा होता है, उस बच्चे को पेट के अंदर ही डिज़ायर्ड क्वालिटीज़, नॉलेज, स्किल्स के साथ कैसे इम्बाइब किया जाए, इस कला को गर्भ संस्कार कहते हैं. और ये बहुत ही यूनिक कंसेप्ट है. आई एम श्योर काफ़ी लोगों को ये बात नहीं पता है, स्पेशली हमारी जनरेशन तो इस स्किल से छुपी हुई है. आज की कॉन्वर्सेशन शुरू करने से पहले मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि अगर आपके फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली में कोई प्रेग्नेंट वुमन है तो आप उन्हें ये पॉडकास्ट ज़रूर फॉरवर्ड कीजिए. अगर कोई बेबी प्लान कर रहा है, कोई कंसीव करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो ये कॉन्वर्सेशन उन्हीं के लिए बनी है. एंड प्लीज़ गेट रेडी टू गेट स्टन्ड एंड एन्जॉय दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन, क्योंकि मैंने इस कॉन्वर्सेशन को बहुत ही ओपोनेंट एंगल से डिस्कस किया है. मैंने उनसे पूछा है कि ये कैसी कला है और क्या इसका कोई साइंटिफिक एविडेंस भी है, क्या इसके ओल्ड स्क्रिप्चर्स, एंशिएंट स्क्रिप्चर्स में इसके बारे में कुछ लिखा है, क्या इसकी कोई सक्सेस स्टोरी है, और बहुत सारी यूनिक बातें हमने इसमें किए हैं. और मैंने पूरी कोशिश की है इस कॉन्वर्सेशन के द्वारा कि मैं आपके सारे डाउट्स क्लैरिफाई कर सकूं. सो प्लीज़ एन्जॉय द कॉन्वर्सेशन एंड पुट योर ईयर प्लग्स टुगेदर फॉर अ रियली पावरफुल एंड यूनिक एपिसोड. Today we have another special guest who has a very profound knowledge on yoga, on naturopathy, and one of the old age ancient practices in Hinduism called Garbha Sanskara. So Dr. Chandralekha, welcome on Hocus Focus with Anchal. And how are you?
Yes, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting to this wonderful show, Anchal. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
I am so excited, ma'am. पता है आपको, when I first met you and when I first got to know that there exists a coach of Garbha Sanskara, and I was like, oh man, what kind of a coach is this and what kind of a profile is this? ये कैसे होता है? I was so intrigued because I know the youth of my age, you know, हमारा generation जो है वो इस चीज़ को नहीं जानता. शायद मम्मी पापा की उम्र के लोग जानते भी होंगे, मगर हमारी जनरेशन इस संस्कार को नहीं जानती. एंड आई नो फॉर अ फैक्ट कि जो 16 संस्कार हमारे हिंदुज़म में हैं, लाइक बर्थ होता है, लाइक बाली भी पहनाते हैं, नामकरण करते हैं, एंड व्हेन यू सेंड अ चाइल्ड फॉर एजुकेशन and then marriage and then death. मुझे थोड़ा थोड़ा पता है. And one of those sanskar is Garbha Sanskar.
Yes.
So when I got to know, I got so intrigued that I have this intention for this podcast that we can actually create value adding conversation around this concept and create awareness for our audience in this context. So obviously, ma'am, क्या है गर्भ संस्कार एक्चुअल में, अगर इफ़ यू वर टू एक्चुअली डिफाइन एंड सिंप्लीफाई इट इन द मोस्ट बेसिक लैंग्वेज, तो आप कैसे समझाओगे?
Sure, definitely. So, in fact, Garbha Sanskara is made up of two words, right? Garbha is the womb, and Samskara is the culture that we give to the child. So, this word, I'm so happy to share about the Samskaras because it's such a wonderful word where there is no equivalent word in English at all. मतलब कहीं भी वो equal नहीं आता. That's the level of beauty that Sanskrita has, right? So here, to be very specific on the meaning of Garbha Sanskara, whatever the baby is going, like it's growing inside the mother womb, you know, whatever the mother goes through, whatever she experiences, the baby also experiences the same, right? Whatever she feels, if she feels good, baby also feels good. If she's crying, baby also starts crying. That means whatever she goes through, what emotions they go through, or whether it is happiness or sadness, everything baby also goes through. It's because she is sharing not only the nutrition for the baby, but she's also sharing the emotions. She is sharing all that what she goes through. That's one of the basic thing if you have to boil down to the very one single point. Then second important thing is here we have all values. In fact, you can start imbibing those best values and virtues to the baby because baby's subconscious mind is super duper active right now. Right? Baby cannot think from its own self. But what you give, baby absorbs it like a plain sponge. So if it's a very fresh sponge, whatever you give, it just takes up, right? Your baby is such an intelligent and genius that it can understand each and everything. Only thing is we have to give the right things.
I got you, but only the surface understanding of this concept I had that मैंने सुना था like सुनिधि चौहान मैम की स्टोरी है या फिर सोनू निगम या फिर बहुत सारे सिंगर्स ये कहते हैं कि हमारी मदर जब हम पेट में थे तो वो म्यूज़िक सुनती थी, वो क्लासिकल सुनती थी, वो किशोर कुमार को सुनती थी, एंड दैट इज़ हाउ वी गॉट म्यूज़िक इन आर ब्लड, एंड दैट इज़ हाउ इतनी छोटी सी उम्र में वो बच्चे इतने सुरीले गाते हैं. दे आर बॉर्न विद द सिंगिंग टैलेंट. एंड ये एक सरफेस लेवल पे बात समझ आती कि अच्छा मदर जो सुन रही थी वो मुंह में उनको ऑलरेडी स्किल मिल गई. एंड वी ऑलरेडी नो द फेमस सिंगर सुनिधि चौहान, इतनी कम उम्र में उन्होंने इतनी सक्सेस हासिल कर ली. तो ये तो सरफेस लेवल पे बात समझ आती है, बट नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन यही आता है कि एक्चुअली हाउ डू वी डू दिस? इफ़ यू आर सेइंग दैट आई कैन एक्चुअली क्यूरेट अ बेबी इनसाइड माई वूम्ब एंड curate all these qualities and imbibe all these qualities inside the womb, then how do I actually do it? What's the process of the whole thing?
First of all, here both father and mother, that means both pregnant couples should be very much aware that they are pregnant and they are nurturing a very much valuable baby inside them. That's one thing. That means having a right awareness of pregnancy is first important thing. Then second thing is how you start imbibing those values or virtues, the desired qualities, for example. तो उसको हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? All the pancha, all the five senses, I can say, right? Like hearing, seeing. We can use all these five senses to give the right knowledge for the baby. Okay, so it could be like whatever you see is one of the inputs you give to the baby, or talking is one of the inputs. Like we have a science called as Garbha Samvad, how you talk to the baby, right? So that is how we develop that greater level of bonding with the baby. Then what values do we give? For example, you want to imbibe the honesty as a good quality for your baby, right? Then we start inculcating those kind of qualities, or reading a book is one of the form where you give the knowledge to a baby, right? These are the simplest examples that I can give. That first of all, Garbha Sanskara is not something that you have to bring from outside or nothing. It's all about simplest lifestyle that you inculcate or imbibe in your baby through how we do, right? First of all, the couple has to follow all of these things in their life and make it a lifestyle. It's always there in their lifestyle, which your baby will start learning from the womb.
So are you trying to say if I want to inculcate a certain quality of discipline, or let's say a skill of singing or athletic body, or any coding or anything of that sort which is relevant in today's time, and parents want to inculcate these qualities in their child, then in that case I need to have those qualities by myself?
Definitely, yes. Yes.
Yeah. whatever I know that my baby will know. I cannot assume to just inculcate those qualities in my baby without having these qualities by my side.
And to add to
Is
a
that what you're
point
saying?
here, for example, we would be having a lot of good qualities, right? Unknowingly, we may be even having bad qualities. If we don't want these bad qualities to come into our children, and if we want to intensify the good qualities, we will have to work more upon what is required right now. For example, you have a very good quality, then you have to start practicing that very frequently, or start talking about it and start visualizing about it, then you will give it. Otherwise, what happens, whatever you have, whether it is good or bad, everything is coming to the baby. That's also one important point.
But ma'am, but in today's scenario, when we talk about Sanskar, I think there are a lot of misconceptions attached to
Yes.
it. If you talk about this subject to somebody, they'll say they'll assume baby shower as Garbh Sanskar. They'll assume puja as Garbh Sanskar. So what are the types of misconception attached to this concept? If you can clarify all of these and tell, okay, these are the misconceptions, this is not Garbh Sanskar and this is Garbh Sanskar.
Very practical question what everybody goes through in their life. हम सोचते हैं कि ना एक कोई दान करने से या फिर कोई thing that you want to give to others or doing some puja or doing some rituals is enough for Garbha Sanskar. But that's actually a very, very smallest part of Garbha Sanskara, right? The main important thing is how we live our life. What inputs are we taking, right? We have, in fact, every other couple today are living in a very dynamic lifestyle. So we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we have some kind of anxieties and fears and insecurities and so many of things like that. So हम क्या करते हैं, knowingly or unknowingly, we are also transferring all of these things to our baby as well, which is completely preventable. That's what is Garbha Sanskar all about. So now you have the chance to design your baby's destiny. Swami Vivekananda tells that you are the creator of your destiny, right? But I would say that you are the creator of your baby's destiny as well. Because your baby's future is completely in your hands. If you are the person who can decide to give maximum positivity, then why don't we do that? Definitely we can do it, right? That's how it is.
You're trying to say is that I am the architect of my child.
Definitely.
If I were to create a baby inside my womb, I can choose what qualities I want in my baby and I can inculcate those.
Yes.
Understandable. समझ आ गई. But at the same time, when you talk about destiny, तो मेरे दिमाग में सवाल आता है कि हम सोल हैं. एक्चुअली वी आर सोल, वी आर स्पिरिचुअल बीइंग्स ऑन अ ह्यूमन जर्नी rather than human beings on a spiritual journey. So as a spiritual being, when we enter when the soul enters the body, I have actually two questions. First, I'll ask this. We come with a karmic account.
Yes.
Like whatever we have done in our previous life, considering that you are a believer, whatever we have done in our karmic account, everything is written in our karma account.
Yes.
And if I've done some bad deeds or if I've done some positive deeds in my previous life, I'm going to reap the benefits, or I'm going to reap the result of it in this life, right?
Janma, yes.
If somebody is coming with that, whatever karmic account, we also understand this point that our DNA has the memory of our lineage.
Correct.
Has the memory of our lineage habits and diseases and qualities. It's everything biologically, it's been solved that we have the memories of our ancestors and their diseases in our DNA. If somebody, किसी का background negative है, या किसी के घर में बहुत ज़्यादा नेगेटिव एनर्जी रही है, लड़ाई झगड़ा होता रहा है, फाइनेंशियली अच्छे बैकग्राउंड से नहीं आते, या किसी के घर में बहुत ज़्यादा बीमारियां रही हैं, कैंसर रहा है, आर्थराइटिस रहा है, बीपी रहा है, तो बहुत ज़्यादा चांसेस हैं कि बच्चों को भी वही मिलेगा.
करेक्ट.
Even if I choose to stay positive, even if I choose to inculcate best of the qualities, but I cannot ignore the fact that my baby has a karmic account and it comes with my ancestral's memory.
Yes.
तो क्या इस प्रोसेस से, इस गर्भ संस्कार से क्या हम ये अवॉइड कर सकते हैं? अगर कर सकते हैं तो कितने लेवल पे, और क्या ये हम एलिमिनेट भी कर सकते हैं?
Very scientific question. Your question boils down to whether we can change the DNA or whether we can remove all those karma or karmic account what we have suffered or we have been getting from our previous generations, right? Definitely this can be done. That's where the significance of Garbha Sanskara actually comes. Okay,
Wow.
so I'll tell you about both the karma aspect and also the modern science of DNA and how it transfers from one generation to the next generation. First thing, let me take about the karma. Okay, now we don't know whether we were any animal or whether we were any human or whatever we went through, because we do not have any control on the past karma, right? हम बहुत सारे like we could have gone through so much of thing in the previous janma. A person could be very rich following like a very maharaja or some great person, or the person could be a very ordinary person who went through a suddenly maybe let's say an accident. Then just imagine what kind of trauma that atma could have gone through, right? And now same kind of pain also could be there in that baby before birth, right? So now it's the time. Now this is like a transition time. We have got these 9 beautiful months where by inculcating, in fact, by adding all these values, you are removing all that is not required for us. This is called as shodhana, where we are removing what is not required and we are adding what is required. As I gave this example, if you take a full pot of milk and even add a very little bit of curd also, this entire milk transforms and gets cultured into curd.
Yeah.
That's how now this little bit of curd has played a very huge role. In the same way, samskaras also add a lot of values where even if we went through anything traumatic or which is not required for us, maybe something negative, we do not know. In fact, we don't know what we have gone through in the previous janmas. Right now is the right time. This is like once the baby is born, from then the account will start. Now this is like a transition period. Now we want whatever we want, we can remove what is required, that we can add. That's nothing but samskara here. Okay. And coming to the second point, the epigenetics. Like you just asked me if they have any arthritis, heart issues, cancer, whether we can prevent all these things for our next generation, right? And that is 100% preventable only through Garbha Sanskara.
Really?
Yes. Thanks to all these age-old ancient people, especially the Rishi Muni, like Charaka Samhita, from all these texts, it is clearly told that the expression of gene can be prevented. In fact, it can be regulated through Garbha Sanskara. Okay? To go a little more depth into the science, I'll make it very simple to understand for everyone that whatever genetics we have comes from our father and mother. Obviously, we know it, right? So 50% of genetics come from father and 50% from mother. But here, I am keen to say this, that epigenetics means that we are not changing the sequence, but here we are controlling the expression of the genes. For say, suppose, if some of the generation people had some kind of cancer, okay, and we don't want our next generation to have cancer, that's clear, right? Now, by following all these changes, maybe the lifestyle changes or how we think, what all environment we create during pregnancy, prevent that gene to get expressed. So that's the beauty of this science. That means, in fact, this epigenetics is a continuous cycle. Even now, the epigenetical changes are happening within us, right? But when we follow this Garbha Sanskara during pregnancy, these changes are permanent for the baby. Okay? Which means that even if something had to happen, you can prevent right at the moment. That's the beauty of this Garbha Sanskara.
So what do you again mean by changing the expression but not the DNA?
We have some bondings which are present in the DNA, right?
Yes.
So we have 4 different neuropeptides, I can say. Okay, purines and pyrimidines are the structures which are present on the DNA. In fact, we are not changing those, but we are changing how it has to get expressed.
Oh,
That's the beauty of this.
wonderful. I mean, I'm all intrigued by this idea, but keeping in mind the interest of our audience, I'm very sure those people who are listening this conversation may have 2 kinds of perception. One perception is that there will be people who are in sync with this conversation, and another will be doubters.
Yes.
For those people, because everybody in today's age and scenario are relying on scientific evidences. But before we go on to that part, I would want you to tell me what is exactly written in the scriptures, in our Hindu scriptures, what is written about this concept. And then we can probably move on to that scientific part.
Definitely. In fact, I can give an evidence from both our cultural aspect as well as from the modern aspect. Let me give you a small example from the modern side first. In fact, I am a person who never believes just if somebody says. I always go and do a lot of research. If that is proved, only then I used to believe. Then, when I started doing research on both the cultural aspect, the ancient science, and also the modern science, I was blown away. And that was the time I started believing in this science, in this law actually. So, to be very specific, there's a beautiful book called as The Life of Unborn Child, okay, which was authored by Thomas Verney. He gives a lot of examples on how this epigenetic changes happen in the womb. Okay, that's one of the modern science. Okay, then to give a little light on the cultural aspect, we have so many scriptures called as Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita. We have a lot of inputs from many olden scriptures which clearly mentions that how a mother has to live her different months in her pregnancy, right? To be very specific, even before all of this scannings all were found, our ancient people have so clearly mentioned what is the size of pinda, that is, what is the size of the baby in the womb in different months, what all organs are formed, right? All of these is clearly mentioned in our ancient scriptures. And that's why they have made a special regimen that how a pregnant couple has to live. So this is the specificity that our ancient people have seen within the human life.
Wonderful. You know what? When I first met you, I was actually shooting for a Kerala tourism project at that point of time. And when I met you, I was really intrigued and I was kind of surprised and shocked by this whole profile. Okay, I've met people with health coach, life coach, relationship coach, but what is this Garbha Sanskar coach? And I know this whole concept is very prevalent in South India, but maybe not in North India as much. So I was shooting in Kerala and I discussed the whole thing with my director just randomly. I met this person who's a Garbha Sanskar coach. So he actually told this thing with me. In Kerala, in Thrissur district, there is a temple which comes under the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And that temple is 1600 years old. 1600 साल पुराना वो टेम्पल है. बट बिफोर आई टेल यू अबाउट द टेम्पल, जो डॉक्टर्स हैं वो ये बात को जानते हैं और कंफर्म करेंगे कि जो एक्सरे की इन्वेंशन है, एक्सरे इन्वेंशन हुई थी 1895 में.
Yes.
उसके बाद सोनोग्राफी, पेट स्कैन, MRI, ये सब CT स्कैन, ये सब चीज़ें आई हैं. बट 1895 में जो बेसिक स्कैन है ऑफ ह्यूमन बॉडी वो एक्सरे था और वो तब इन्वेंट हुआ था. बट हम बात कर रहे हैं 1600 साल पुराने एक मंदिर की, जिसके मंदिर की दीवारों पर इंग्रेव्ड है ये सारी पिक्चर्स जिसकी मैं बात कर रही हूँ. ह्यूमन स्पर्म, ओवम, and first week, second week, third week, every week wise, month wise बेबी की क्या फॉर्मेशन होती है, उसके क्या क्या पार्ट्स ग्रो करते हैं और क्या एजुकेशन वो उन पिक्चर्स के थ्रू देना चाहते थे हमारे एंसेस्टर्स. वो 1600 साल पुराना एक मंदिर जिसकी दीवारों पे सब कुछ इनग्रेव्ड है. आई थिंक दिस इज़ अ वेरी ब्यूटिफुल एग्जाम्पल ऑफ स्क्रिप्चर्स ऑल्सो, ऑफ साइंटिफिक एविडेंस ऑल्सो, दैट दिस इज़ एक्चुअली प्रिवेलेंट एंड वी हैव साइंटिफिक एविडेंसेस कि हमें इस प्रोसेस की जानकारी बहुत पहले से थी.
Yes.
एंड आई ऑल्सो लाइक टू हाईलाइट दिस पॉइंट व्हेन पीपल से कि स्क्रिप्चर्स में जो लिखा है वो हम कैसे बिलीव करें. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो स्क्रिप्चर्स में लिखा है वो भी इज़ टोटली बैक्ड बाय साइंटिफिक एविडेंसेस.
Yes.
जो ऋषि मुनियों ने, जो हमारे गुरुओं ने ये सब स्क्रिप्चर्स लिखी हैं, everything that they've written is backed by science.
Definitely.
एंड साइंस प्रॉब्ली वहाँ तक पहुँची नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने एक बहुत सुंदर एग्जाम्पल पढ़ा था कि हनुमान चालीसा की एक लाइन है, युग सहस्त्र योजन पर भानु, और जब मुझे पता चला कि इस लाइन का एक्चुअल मतलब है कि सन और अर्थ के बीच का जो डिस्टेंस है वो दर्शाया गया है इस लाइन के थ्रू.
Yes.
एंड हनुमान चालीसा वॉज रिटन बाय तुलसीदास जी लाइक thousands and thousands of years ago, और तभी हमें पता चल गया था अर्थ और सन का डिस्टेंस. मगर मॉडर्न साइंस के अकॉर्डिंग अभी बहुत ही few hundred years ago there was the modern scientist who lived in Turkey who actually got to know about the earth and sun ka distance through a telescope.
Yes.
But we also have evidences in our scriptures, in our prayers कि हमें पता चल गया था. तो आई थिंक दिस इज़ अ वेरी ब्यूटिफुल एग्जाम्पल व्हेन इट कम्स टू कि स्क्रिप्चर्स आर बैक्ड बाय साइंस.
Yes.
मुझे पता है 2 साइकोलॉजी के लोग इस पॉडकास्ट को कंज्यूम कर रहे होंगे, जो एक तो सरेंडर कर चुके होंगे कि उनको जानना है, और एक डाउटफुल माइंड से देख रहे होंगे. तो मेरी एज अ पॉडकास्टर ये कोशिश है कि जिनको डाउट है इस कंसेप्ट पे, इस प्रक्रिया पे, इस प्रोसेस पे, मैं वो कैसे मिटा सकूं. एंड यू ऑल्सो मैंशनड अबाउट द बुक ऑफ डॉक्टर थॉमस, द स्टोरी ऑफ एन अनबॉर्न चाइल्ड. दैट इज़ वन ब्यूटिफुल एग्जाम्पल. नेशनल जोग्राफिक पे भी एक शो था, इन द वूम्ब. उन्होंने इस गर्भ संस्कार के ऊपर पूरा रिसर्च किया है. एंड उन्होंने इसके ऊपर एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनाई है. फॉर दिस इज़ फॉर द लिसनर्स हु एक्चुअली वुड वांट टू हैव अ साइंटिफिक बैकअप एविडेंस, देन गो अहेड एंड लिसन टू इट.
When we speak about scriptures, I remember another wonderful story, okay, which we know about Bhagavad Gita so much, but we do not know about this Ashtavakra Gita, okay. Ashtavakra is a huge saint. He was a very, very knowledgeable person. When he was in his mother's womb, okay, and even the father and mother of this Ashtavakra were very, very intellectual people. They had a lot of Vedic science and knowledge, which they wanted to give to the next generation. And once, father was chanting a lot of mantras and all of that, and the mother was listening. Even the baby Ashtavakra was also listening to this in the mother's womb. And one day, Ashtavakra's father was chanting, and suddenly he mispronounced one word. Okay, and the little Ashtavakra who was in mother's womb wanted to correct his father and tells father, "Oh my dear father, this is not the way you are supposed to pronounce, because each and every syllable in Sanskrita have particular meaning. If you change it this way, maybe this will mean in this way. So please correct this." Then what happens? Ashtavakra is telling all of these things, and father also heard about this. And suddenly father gets a lot of anger from nowhere that how can a very small child who is not yet born even is telling me such a great wisdom I have, and how can such small baby tell me? So he gets angry. And without thinking much, he will give shapa. He will give a curse to the child that you will be born with 8 different deformities. And that's how his name was Ashtavakra. Okay, Ashta is 8 and Vakra is so many deformities. Let me break down this story further, because you can see 2 aspects in this story. One is the positive aspect and the negative aspect of Garbha Sanskara. Why I want to give this perspective here is because without knowingly also whatever we do is going to influence your baby. Like, this is like a law. We can't prevent something. If you drop an apple from up, definitely it goes down, right? In the same way, even if you don't want, or if you want, this is a law where you can't avoid. So knowingly or unknowingly, everything is going to influence our baby. That's why I want to break this story further, that if you look into, you have 2 perspectives. One is positive and one is negative, right? So Ashtavakra was so intelligent because his father and mother were giving a lot of intellectual knowledge to him, right? But if you look at the negative aspect of the child here, when the father cursed the baby that you will have Ashtavakras in your body, that turned out to be real. Then he was not having all the structures, not the spinal cord, nothing was perfect in his body because of his father's words. Now, I want to tell this story like precisely here because sometimes unknowingly also we might be speaking about something negative, right? Sometimes knowingly we do everything right, but sometimes unknowingly whatever we do may also influence the baby inside. That's why I want to break this story and give this message to everyone. Knowingly or unknowingly, always we have to make our environment more positive.
I mean, this is an amazing story when it comes to being mindful. Even if we are trying our level best to inculcate these values, but we need to be mindful of our environment that we are in right now. Oh, amazing. I never knew of this story because we have always heard of Abhimanyu ki story, Chakravyuh story, but this one is new for me. आप जो कह रहे हो, which is very dreamy, you know, मुझे ये अचानक से सडन रियलाइजेशन हो रही है दैट दिस the job of getting pregnant, the responsibility of getting pregnant is so much higher than I thought. मतलब अभी बैठे बैठे मुझे आपसे कॉन्वर्सेशन करते हुए रियलाइज़ हो रहा है कि ओके दिस इज़ अ वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबल थिंग. आई एम एक्चुअली क्यूरेटिंग अ लाइफ इनसाइड मी एंड आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर ही और शी विल बिकम. एंड इट लुक्स वेरी फैंसी. अगर मैं इसको ऐसे कंपेयर करूँ कि इफ़ एक पेंटर पेंटिंग बनाता है तो वो अच्छी बनी है बुरी बनी है पेंटर का क्रेडिट जाता है. अगर कोई कुक खाना बना रहा है तो वो स्वाद बना है या नहीं बना है तो वो कुक का उस खाने का जो श्रेय है वो कुक को जाता है, या फिर ख़राब बना है तब भी वो कुक को जाता है. सिमिलरली इफ़ आई एम द क्रिएटर ऑफ अ लाइफ इनसाइड मी तो वो लाइफ कैसी होगी उसका श्रेय भी मुझे जाता है या फिर एक कपल को जाता है, उसके एनवायरनमेंट को जाता है. And this looks very fancy and this looks very dreamy to say कि I can inculcate mental abilities, physical abilities. आपने कहा अच्छा ये भी true है कि we also inculcate physical features. ये काफ़ी racist question होगा कि अगर मेरा husband और मैं दोनों काले हैं, बट कुछ लोग इंडिया में, कुछ लोग क्या काफ़ी लोग, दे वांट अ फेयर चाइल्ड. दो आई डोंट वांट दिस टू बी अ क्वेश्चन बट आई नो कि ये ऑडियंस का बैठे बैठे पॉडकास्ट सुनते सुनते दिमाग में ज़रूर आ रहा होगा कि हम तो ऐसे फीचर्स के इंसान ही नहीं हैं, तो हमारे बच्चे ऐसे कैसे हो जाएंगे. क्या नंबर वन, क्या फिज़िकल फीचर्स भी हम मैनिफेस्ट कर सकते हैं या इनकलकेट कर सकते हैं?
ओके, आई विल गिव यू अ स्ट्राइट अवे आंसर. पहले हमको ये नहीं सोचना है कि हमारा बच्चा काला हो या गोरा हो. पहले हमको ये कलर का तो नहीं रखना है. एंड टू आंसर टू योर क्वेश्चन वेदर वी कैन डू दैट, येस वी कैन डू दैट. बिकॉज इसमें जो गर्भ संस्कार हम करते हैं, दिस इज बॉइलिंग डाउन टू वेरी माइन्यूटेस्ट थिंग एज आई टोल्ड अबाउट एपिजेनेटिक्स. यहाँ पे जो फादर से about 7 or 12 generations of characteristics or genetics are influencing, and from mother side minimum 5 generation of genetics or the features or the character is influenced, right? Through Garbha Sanskara, when we are doing all those beautiful activities, in fact we are going to influence even those genetics which are getting expressed. For say, let me take a small example for this. Suppose in my family there is no one who has curly hair. Okay, right now let's say my father, mother, me, my siblings, nobody has curly hair. Maybe my husband and his 12 generations, anybody could have that curly hair. Okay, or if somebody wants a fair skin tone, if I'm not having, some of my ancestors could have, or my husband's families or some of their ancestors could also have that, right? So while doing this Garbha Sanskara, we can, in fact, we can take the chance of bringing those qualities into our baby by doing certain practices which are very specific.
Okay.
Now, first of all, we should not keep a judgmental aspect in coming to the baby, but if tried properly, so this should be done under the proper guidance. And second important thing is this is possible. I'll give you a small example. Somebody imagined that they should have a very fair baby. Okay, and both husband and wife were completely Africans. They were completely dark because the girl who was pregnant, and she went through a lot of trauma because of being dark in her childhood, and she kept in her mind that definitely my child should not have the same thing, and even whatever I went through during my childhood, my child should not go through that. That's how she thought. And she started visualizing a person from a very fair thing or something. She started seeing a picture which was kept in her bedroom. Every day she used to wake up and look at that picture, and always she used to pray to the God that even my baby should be like this. And for my surprise, at the end of pregnancy, when she delivered, it was a completely fair baby. And you can go to the Google and check. It is still there that both husband and wife both are completely dark, and they have delivered a very, very fair baby. I'm telling this not to tell that everybody can do this or everybody can't do this. And I want to tell this here because anything and everything is possible when a couple, especially when a mother thinks that is 100% possible. If she thinks it, I have to do this. That's all.
I mean, I'm really shocked to know this. It's very difficult to digest. Okay, I just thought, okay, the emotions are transferred through this process. How I'm feeling, what kind of a personality I am, what kind of skill I am inculcating, what I'm listening, what I'm grabbing through all the senses, by watching, by listening, by feeling, I might be able to influence my child. But this is surprising to know that I can actually alter physical features of my child. Then I should probably manifest a child with 6 feet height because I am not.
We have a activity called as creating a vision board for a pregnancy, right? So for that, where we ask them to have a dream baby picture, okay, during pregnancy, and we ask them to visualize on a daily basis. And we ask them to compare their own baby with the dream baby picture. And to my surprise, every time I get surprised that 50 to 70% of the qualities match between the dream baby picture and their original baby.
Oh wow, this thing you are talking about, your community in which you coach this?
Yes.
Okay, now if I were to ask you 5 practical ways, let's say 5 practical practices or rituals that a pregnant woman or somebody who wants to conceive in a given period of time, अगर वो थोड़े टाइम में प्लान भी कर रहे हैं, तो 5 ऐसी कौन सी practices हैं? If you were to simplify those practices, what would that be that a woman should do?
Okay, first important thing is talking to the baby, which is called as Garbha Samvada, where communication is the first one. Second thing is keeping your mind very calm through music. That's called as Garbha Sangita. So there's a special kind of ragas in each and different months we have that they have to listen to. That's about Garbha Sangita. Then third important thing is Garbha Yoga. So yoga here means not only physical fitness, yoga here means to improve the flexibility, strength, and not only that, but also aligning ourselves from physical being to the mental being. That means we are uniting the soul and the physical body both together, right? That's one of the important thing. Then fourth important thing is what all inputs are we taking? We have to make a screening. Whether we are taking everything which is coming around, or just are we having that screen with whatever we want to take, only that we have to take. That's about it. And fifth is create that environment within us, within inside. Okay, and anyhow we can't change people outside. We can change environment which is inside. That's very important.
Okay.
There are so many principles, just you have asked 5, and these are the most important things that I would like to tell here.
So I'd like to repeat this 5 practical tips for the audience. First one is Garbh Samvad, talking with the baby. And second one is Garbh Sangeet, in which music plays an important role through conveying the best of the emotions. And third one is Garbh Yoga. And then fourth one is screen check, probably checking your environment and you are being mindful of what goes inside you. It's not just in terms of diet, but through all 5 senses, right? And the fifth one is environment.
Internal environment, creating a positive internal environment, because we can't change everything that's going around us, but definitely we can change what we are supposed to choose to take it.
I'm sure people who are listening will have this question in their mind, that let's talk practical. Okay, we live in a metropolitan city, and all the women of my age are probably working mostly, and if they are planning a baby or they've already conceived, they are probably working. So let's not forget the lifestyle that we live in, traffic, workload. जनरली अभी भी एक जो मदर कंसीव कर चुकी होती है, एक प्रेग्नेंट लेडी का जो रूटीन होता है वो यही होता है. वो सुबह उठते ही है, तैयार होती है, भाग दौड़ कर नाश्ता करती है, एंड देन शी रशेस टू वर्क, एंड द वर्क इज़ देयर, देन शी कम्स बैक एंड वी हैव हाउस होल्ड चोर्स टू डू बिकॉज वी आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू, एंड देन शी डज दिस होल थिंग. But at the same time, she has the intention that she wants to inculcate these qualities. But one of the major challenges that a working pregnant woman faces today is that time nahi hai. Then how do we deal with this challenge?
Great question. Very, very practical question. What everybody and anybody can be facing right now, right, Satan? So again, as everyone tells, I would want to specify this one point, that everybody in this world has only 24 hours, isn't it? Now we have to start thinking what priority are we giving for our baby. That's very, very important, right? So we would be having the best hospital, the best diet in the world, best medication and best care. In fact, everybody in the family are also taking very well of the pregnant mother. But in fact, we have to think what priority are we giving for the unborn baby, because we want to give the best gift for the child, best school, best education, best universities. For that, we are earning crores and lakhs of money right now. Right? Everybody will start planning their child only once they have enough money for the baby's future. That's all there. Especially Gen Zs are very much particular about that. Now, to be very specific, are we giving that right priority in the pregnancy to inculcate the right values? That's very important, right? And coming back to this time, so time is always 24 hours. Now, what I do in my community is I'll just only take 10 minutes of their time every day to inculcate one quality per day. That's all. Just 10 minutes, anybody and everybody can be doing, right? Now, it all comes back to priority, because once we do some work, we want little relaxation. We switch to mobile or to either scroll Instagram or to chit chat about something to someone. So here comes the priority. If you are giving the right priority in pregnancy to nurture your baby, then that's like you are investing a lot in your baby right now. Right? That's a right kind of investment. Even I'll give you another example. If you start an SIP right now, systemic investment plan, it can grow to multiple X, maybe 10X or 20X. I do not know much about the math. But if you invest a very smallest period of your pregnancy, that to a right quality time with your baby, that can grow maybe, I can say infinity X. Because this is the potential what a mother can have. I can't even take 10x or 100x, because that amount of potential you are able to rightly provide to your baby. That's that about it.
Wonderful. I mean, there's also one point that I'd like to add here is that I know for a fact that we cannot control our external environment.
Yes.
And what we can always control is how we choose to react to our situations.
Definitely.
And that's the whole point of it. I just thought, I also started with this conversation that I can curate a baby with all the good qualities that I want. This is a very practical question, and this thought can come into any parent's mind, and it is okay to have. But at the same time, I feel it is not okay to have. As a parent, I see a lot of us are actually making plans about our baby's personality, about our baby's how it's going to look, what it's going to be like, what it's going to do. We are actually trying to narrate their whole story in our mind, write their personality, decide their career. कि मैं तो अपने बच्चे को क्रिकेटर बनाऊंगा, तो मैं क्रिकेट खेलना शुरू कर देता हूँ, ठीक है. एंड मैं तो अपने बच्चे को सिंगर बनाऊंगी, मैं तो अपने बच्चे को AI में लेके जाऊंगी तो रोबोटिक्स एंड कोडिंग सीखना शुरू कर देते हैं. दिस इज़, आई नो फॉर अ फैक्ट, इज़ अ नोबल इंटेंशन. Okay, they are trying to give best of the qualities to their child. So nowadays, lot of parents have made their own plans about their baby according to their experiences, according to their own knowledge, and with the noble intention. कोई अपने बच्चे को कुछ गलत नहीं सिखाना चाहता, सब अपने बच्चे को सब कुछ सिखाना चाहते हैं, एंड विद देयर बेस्ट ऑफ कैपेबिलिटीज़ वो सिखाते भी हैं. अगर वो इंटेंशन भी रख रहे हैं कि मैं अपने बच्चे को ये सिखाऊंगा और वो सिखाऊंगा, तो वो इंटेंशन कहीं ना कहीं गलत नहीं है. बट एट द सेम टाइम डिसाइडिंग अ करियर ऑफ द चाइल्ड कि मैं अपने बच्चे को ये बनाऊंगा, क्योंकि जहाँ तक मैं अवेयर हूँ, जो ऊपर से आत्मा आती है उसका एक खुद का प्लान होता है, एक डिवाइन प्लान होता है, और वो अपने प्लान के अकॉर्डिंग अपना पेरेंट सेलेक्ट करती है. अच्छा, इस घर में मुझे रिसोर्सेज मिलेंगे, इस घर में मुझे ये इन्वायरमेंट मिलेगा, और मेरे प्लान के अकॉर्डिंग आई कैन लीड माई लाइफ. सोल सेलेक्ट करती है कि वो किस घर में जन्म लेने वाली है, एंड वी आर एक्चुअली ब्लेस्ड विद दैट सोल. बट एट द सेम टाइम, अगर ऐसा होता है कि जो सोल ने हमारे घर में जन्म लिया है उसका सोल प्लान और हमारा प्लान ऑफ मेकिंग माई चाइल्ड दिस और दैट डज नॉट मैच, और वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट खा जाता है, तब क्या होता है?
I'll give you my perspective on this. Okay, there could be many different perspective, but मेरा perspective जो है वो थोड़ा different है कि हम कोई भी we are no one to decide baby's future, right? इनफैक्ट बेबी को कौन सा प्रोफेशन चूज करना है वो हमको, obviously as parents we have some expectation, but still we should not be doing that. That's a very nice question from yourself. And you also told that what if I have to do this, can I do that or not? Very practically everybody will think and everybody will have this kind of conflict in their mind. But मेरा जो perspective है, we should not only start working on the intellect of the baby, not only on the emotions, but I would say we have to work on 4 dimensions of the child. Let's say physical dimension, very important, to have a healthy baby, to have all the organs well formed, है ना, कि baby का strong हो, fit हो, कोई बीमारी नहीं हो, that's very important. Then comes the emotional quotient. Emotions are very, very important. Now we are seeing one of the hero just made suicide, I think. He has a very successful career, but still, see, his emotions were not well balanced, right? So that's how emotions are also very important. Maybe we can be making lakhs or crores, but what if our emotions are not well balanced? Nowadays, whenever a NEET result comes, whenever 10th standard result comes, many children are going for suicide, right? So this is not a solution. In fact, every parent has a lot of expectations, a lot of things on their children. Now, it's also important to give the right emotional balance for our children right from the womb. I'm just giving some few examples so that I will give better explanation.
Understanding.
Yes. Yeah. Another third important thing is intellectual quotient. See, for example, Ravan was a very huge personality. He had a lot of powers and all of that. But look at his intellect. He was intellectually also very, very good. He had a lot of knowledge. But his emotions were not well balanced. Right? What if a person is very intellectual, but he's creating missiles, or he's creating only something which is not good for the society, right? Then that's also important that we give the right intellect, but that's not getting used for a wrong thing. Yeah. Then comes the spiritual quotient, where we give the right emotions for the baby. Also, we teach how to take that emotions to grow spiritually in the life. That's very important.
I mean, that's beautiful. So all you're trying to say is that we need to manifest the baby, we need to curate the baby considering these 4 questions: physical quotient, emotional quotient, intellectual quotient, and then spiritual quotient. And rest, we have already created a magical baby, we have created the best baby on the planet Earth, and then we can let the baby live on his own.
Correct.
And explore life on his own. Wow, that's wonderful. Okay, what if somebody who is listening to this podcast and has already given birth to a child. Now she is not in the 9th month pregnancy zone. Then if somebody wants to do something for their baby right now, so is there something that she can do substantially relating to Garbha Sanskar?
Yes. The next one which starts after Garbha Sanskar is the Bala Sanskar, or also called as Shishu Sanskar. Okay, again, which is there already in our scriptures, which clearly mentions about how we can make our baby have physically well-grown body or intellect. Everything can be still curated even after birth. As we spoke, that 80% of development happens in the womb, but still we have 20% left, right? Which is about 0 to 3 years or 0 to 5 is the time the first 15% starts forming, okay? And the rest 5% is left for the entire life. Now you told that baby is already born. Still we can influence the baby by right parenting methods. Okay? And we will understand how baby reacts to what we are doing around. Right? As I gave an example that when you are scrolling mobile and you want your child to sit and read, which is completely opposite, right? So how we start parenting our child, that's very important. In fact, 0 to 3 years are the most important time where baby starts to have a lot of emotions gets formed at that time. In Kannada, we have a beautiful saying that which is told that Mooru varshada nenapu nooru varshada varege. That means that whatever you do for 0 to 3 years, and after that is remembered till the 100th year. That means the first 3 years influence is there for the next 100 years. Okay? In fact, I am fascinated to study a lot about psychology and psychiatry, which is my most favorite subjects. And there it comes the role of psychology, that how a child starts learning. So how baby's memory starts forming, right? And there is a lot of cognitive elements also present in this. So which will decide, so this is a very, in fact, the first 3 years, It's a time where baby's subconscious mind is also very, very active. And that's the time even that will influence the rest of the other life as well.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is that we need to set example for our child rather than teaching them. That's how they will grab the best out of us.
And also homeschooling is also very, very important. So what we think is after 3 years anyhow we are sending them to the school, so there they will learn a lot. Why do I have to sit and make them do all of that? But important thing here is what a mother or what a father can teach, nobody else in the world can teach.
Yeah.
So if you sit and do a small activity, maybe playing a game for some time, or making them sit in one place and chanting something, or you talking to the child is also very important. Where a language, there is a center in the brain called as Wernicke's area and Broca's area, which defines the language area of the baby. Okay, when you start talking to the baby, then this language is very much well formed. Now what's happening? We either give them food and also then after that we make them to sleep. Then again when they wake up we give food, again we make them to sleep. Only two things are happening. But apart from that, giving the right parenting skills to the child is something which will change babies not only 3 years but also the entire life.
Well, all of this is very interesting to know, but मैं आपसे पूछना भूल गई कि मैं अपने जो गेस्ट हैं उनकी जर्नी को जनरली हमेशा ब्रेक डाउन करती हैं, तो हमें आपको समझने के लिए आपकी जर्नी को समझना पड़ेगा. एंड टू माई सरप्राइज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट शुड कम टू वंस माइंड दैट हाउ अ डॉक्टर who is into yoga and naturopathy have actually turned into a Garbha Sanskar coach. What has been your journey throughout?
Okay, thank you for asking that. In fact, so I was a yoga naturopathy doctor, so where I was treating a lot of lifestyle-based disorders like obesity, diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, and many such kind of lifestyle disorders. And as I was going through this journey of working in big hospitals and all of that, I noted one thing very common, that all women are facing some or the other problem in their entire life, especially when coming to the health aspect and the influence of their regular things. Like for example, a woman's life is always changing, right from her birth till her death. The first milestone is like menarche, when she starts menstruating, then life changes, right? Then she starts to have menstruation and then she becomes pregnant. Marriage is one of the middle milestone. Biologically, then after she has children, then her body goes through a lot of changes. Then again she goes through menopause. That's also a kind of challenge. And then later the old age. Now, if you see all these 3-4 milestones which change her life very, very drastically, right? Pregnancy is one such area. If you take the right care at right time, you can in fact make your life a most beautiful life. At the same time, you can curate, you can give the best to your child as well, right? So that potential only a woman has, not anybody else in this world. Men do not have, right? So men can nurture the woman very well and take care of wife very well. But this carrying baby and giving the right value system is only possible for a woman. And that's why I always call my community mothers as goddess mothers, because they only have that capacity or capability to bring all those good qualities in their children, right? So that's why my community is called as Matru Devo Bhava. Mother is considered as goddess, and that's how we invite all the goddesses to bring the right next generation. And how did I become Garbha Sanskara was that as I was working in many corporate hospitals and I've seen a lot of things, there's a gap between the gynecologist and the pregnant mothers, right? Not every doctor can sit and explain all of these things for hours. That's one of the factor. And nowadays, even if you compare over last 2-3 decades on even what current scenario we are going through, the number of cesarean sections have increased very, very drastically. In the last decade only, just it is above 400%, which is increased right now. Okay, and I'm not against to C-sections or normal birth, but here I would want to make it very clear that only if it is necessary. Okay, just 20-30 years back, if you take 100 cases, only 2 to 3 people had C-section. Okay, and right now it has increased to over 50 to 60 or even more than that. So without any much complication, if a mother can deliver, and another important thing is every mother has the potential to give birth to her baby. And now by taking the right care during pregnancy, we can improve that to have a very healthy baby, Okay, here health of the mother does not only depend on the normal birth or C-section, but also on the entire journey of pregnancy, right? And that's where Garbha Sanskar also plays a very, very important role. And also, I'm very much fascinated about the yogic philosophy, the Gurukul system of education, and all of that, which can be very much well done through Garbha Sanskar, right? And also the value system is one thing which I always aligned to. That can be done through Garbha Sanskar. And also, during my entire practice of naturopathy as well, I've seen many women having a lot of miscarriages. A lot of people could not complete their pregnancy, and in between 4th and 5th month, they had abortions and all of which. So, taking the right care of women, especially pre-conception period and during pregnancy, can prevent 80 to 90% of complications throughout their pregnancy, as well as even after the delivery. Nowadays, the postpartum depression number is increasing day by day, right? And taking the right care, especially through Garbha Sanskar and the preconception, all of that can prevent a lot of complications even after the delivery of the child. And that's how I made my mission to at least help 1 million mothers to have happy, healthy, and virtuous children. So that's also where we can give a better generation for this wonderful country.
Amazing, ma'am. I mean, that's 1 million women that you want to teach this skill to. Amazing mission. And I really think जब आप बात कर रहे थे कितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबल जॉब है ये. इफ़ आई वर टू जूम आउट एंड लुक that you are actually teaching mothers to create future generations. So you are responsible for the entire generation that is coming ahead on a global level if we see this. And I really feel कि ये जो कला है, ये जो प्रैक्टिस है, ये सिर्फ इंडिया में नहीं, देश विदेश में, बाहर भी हम फैला सकें, बाहर भी लोगों को अवेयर करा सकें. Okay, this is really a powerful skill that we have. And if we intentionally reproduce the younger generation, the new generation that is coming forward, then in a way, I feel this is such a responsible job that you have because you are in a way responsible for the future generation. So to say, it is right to say that you're responsible for the future generation well-being and intellect and everything, all good things packaged in a baby's form. And मेरे को आपकी बात सुनते सुनते एक ब्रॉडर पर्सपेक्टिव से ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये ग्लोबली कितना ज़्यादा बड़ा मिशन बन सकता है और ये कितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबल चीज़ है आपके हाथ में, ये कला, ये प्रोसेस, ये स्किल, वट एवर यू कॉल इट. अगर मैं ज़रूर चाहती हूँ कि सिर्फ ये इंडिया में नहीं, बाहर भी, देश विदेश में, इन ऑल अदर कंट्रीज़ वी आर एबल टू मेक पीपल अवेयर दैट देयर एग्जिस्ट अ स्किल इन विच यू कैन इंटेंशनली create better human beings, and by doing that we will be able to create better human race for the future. And on a global level, on a community level, we all will be able to reach towards the golden age. And if you were to say कि 100 or 200 years later we will have a generation which will be intentionally reproduced and they all will be amazing. मतलब सोच के ही मज़ा आ रहा है मुझे तो ये सोच के कि इसका ग्लोबल लेवल इम्पैक्ट कितना ज़्यादा होने वाला है. This is amazing, this is powerful, this was a bulb on moment for me.
In fact, to add a point to what you are talking about, I'm just a channel to spread this wonderful knowledge to everyone. And another point is that this should not be limited only for the pregnant mothers. They should be learning during pregnancy. This should be inculcated in every subjects possible, should be at least our basic things should be inculcated in the studies. What students study right now, at least a small part in their curriculum, so that they understand the value of creating a human. That's very important right now. I always think that why are we learning trigonometry and algebra so much specifically in our schools, even if you don't understand or you would understand, that does not matter actually right now, isn't it? But these life skills are very important that every child should learn so that they grow up to be responsible human being. And that's how they respect other people as well, right?
This was my next question to you, that on a community level, if you were to answer, what are the changes that are required as a community एंड यू ऑलरेडी आंसर दैट, बिकॉज मैं ऑलरेडी लिस्ट बनाकर बैठी थी उन स्किल्स की कि स्कूल्स में ये वाले स्किल्स तो सिखाने ही जाने चाहिए. टैक्सेशन सिखाना चाहिए, इंश्योरेंस सिखानी चाहिए, लाइफ स्किल्स सिखाने चाहिए. जब आप किसी जगह पे फंस जाओ, सेल्फ डिफेंस सिखाना चाहिए, कुकिंग सिखाना चाहिए. ऑल दी स्किल्स आई वॉज नोटिंग डाउन इन द बैक ऑफ माई माइंड कि स्कूल्स में सिखाना चाहिए. एंड देन वन स्किल गॉट एडिड, that when you will teach the kids who are actually in this age to grab this knowledge, probably 11th 12th, and when you introduce this subject to the entire race, the entire community, that's how easily it will get imbibed in them, and then in future they will reproduce and curate amazing babies. So I mean, that's amazing answer. I also think कि स्कूल में तो सिखाना ही चाहिए, बट इन अ वे इफ़ वी कैन इंक्लूड दिस इन यूनिवर्सिटीज़ और इन ऑफिसेज, प्रॉब्ली वी कैन डू वर्कशॉप्स in the companies. Like this needs to be taught.
Right. Anchal, you told that you will be showing some amazing magic. You are from a magic background and you're such an amazing person. Can you do some small magic for me today?
Of course, obviously I'm here in by all means to serve you with my skills. All right, Chandra, let's do this with you. As you can see, I have a deck of cards in my hand, and your profession is actually a profession of imbibing great values. So, I've curated something for you. Just like all the individuals, all the human beings are different. We all have different features, we all have different qualities, we all come with different mindsets. Just like that, I have a deck of cards in my hand which has a lot of different values, and it has different suits, and it has different colors. So consider this deck of card is like equal to human being.
Okay.
Right? And first of all, is this visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
Wonderful. It now, a deck of cards has two colors, red and black.
Yes.
And it has four suits, hearts and diamonds and spades and clubs. Are you aware of it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you were to select any random card from 1 to 52, out of these 52 cards, if you were to select any one random card, what would that card be?
Maybe 9 from red hearts.
Okay, 9 of hearts is what you have selected.
Yes.
Okay, let us just find out where is that 9 of hearts. And all if this is visible on the screen. Okay. Let us see. Okay, here we have 9. Let me put this and let me take this out. Is this visible?
Yes, it is visible.
9 of hearts is what you have selected out of the random. Let me put this here.
Hmm.
Is this here?
Yes.
Okay, Chandra. So this is the card that you have selected randomly out of 52 cards, right?
Correct. Yes.
So this is your choice, right? Let me take this choice out, and you can probably see this one is going right here. And now what we'll do is, you will see at the back of this card, I have a little picture.
Yes.
Yeah, I have drawn this picture by myself.
Okay.
And this is actually a baby who is dressed as a magician
Okay.
with a hat standing on a stage. So you can
Okay.
probably see every card has this picture.
Yes.
And this is something that I've created for you. This is dedication to you, because I genuinely feel that a baby who is growing out of a cell, and that seed, that cell that grows into a baby, is actually no less than a magic.
Definitely yes. It's actually a miracle.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And just like the way every cell grows and it takes the form of an organ, and then a lot of organs combined, and then the whole baby is formed, and then life enters into the baby, and then we give birth to the baby.
Yes.
So just like this, you will see this baby little magician will actually take life. Okay? So you're going to witness something magical here, and you will see this baby taking life. I want you to clearly see this.
Yes, yes, I am able to see.
Let me just move a little forward. Now you can see this
Yes,
baby.
yes, very clear.
Okay. Now, is it visible?
Yes.
Now, if you see, this baby is actually moving his
Hand,
hand
yeah.
towards the hat.
Correct,
Can you see?
correct.
Yeah. And he's taking
Taken
out
off the hat also.
his yeah.
Wow.
He's taken the hat out of his head,
Head.
and you can see with his another hand is actually reaching out into the hat.
Mm-hmm.
You can see?
Yes.
And now he is actually taking a rabbit. Can you see?
Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
And what if I tell you that this is actually not a rabbit?
Yes.
He is actually taking something. Do you remember that you have chosen
Correct.
at the end?
Oh my God, how is this possible even?
So that baby
Huh.
has actually taken out this card that you have selected.
Oh my God, I can't say only. This is astonishing and amazing. I did not this even number 9 got like a very magical for me. Just I was thinking that I got 9, and how come this is possible? This is amazing. Really magical and miraculous. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. So, this was a small dedication from my side to this amazing coach and to this amazing noble work that you're doing. And I'm really proud of you. I never knew that this conversation will unfold like this. And on that last note, the theme of our show is that we are encoding human journeys. So, out of your life journey, not just professional journey, if you were to give one piece of advice to our listeners, what would that advice be?
Yeah, one advice for everyone is live and let live others. So we have to live the highest potential possible, because as we already discussed that we are living a spiritual journey, right? So that's very important, that we have got enormous potential. Why do we have to waste on very petty things, right? When we got so much of potential, when we can explore a lot in serving many people, in giving very good service, or giving the best skills, or helping others, whatever it is. Now, my smallest message to the community or the people who are watching this podcast is that when you got highest potential, use it for a more productive thing, right? So we have got a lot of energy within us. So when we use that all positive energy in the right direction, we can bring a more positive life, also more positive community for the country. And many countries together make the most healthy and virtuous world. So that's how I always have this small message for everyone, that live the highest potential, also inspire others to live their maximum potential.
Wonderful. You know what? I have a journal, and I wrote this thing on the front page of my journal that, hey Bhagwanji, that I want to use every bit of talent, every bit of skills, every bit of knowledge within me, and then only I would want to exit the world. And I really hope that not a single bit of talent has not been left when I leave. So I fully want to optimize whatever is inside me, and I so correlate with this idea, with this philosophy of yours, that you as human beings, you as spiritual beings, really need to tap into the best of your abilities and fully live your life with the best of your potential. Just give the best of abilities and knowledge on those 4 quadrants that you can.
Yes.
And then together we will be able to curate amazing community of individuals, of future generation. And I'm actually happy that I made this decision of embracing something new topic like this. So thank you so much for your valuable time, and I had a great conversation with you, Chandra ma'am, and all the best for your mission, for your community. And if anyone is interested, I will share the link of her community in the description below. You can check it out. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Anchal. Thank you so much. I'm so happy being here and sharing a very smallest knowledge what I have to the community here. In fact, to be very specific, I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart that I would be teaching to a very small community on this world. But coming to you and speaking over such a big platform helps many others to know about this Garbha Sanskara, and maybe they will inculcate in their life to transform their life as well as their baby's life. In fact, I would say helping a woman is like helping an entire family, right? So that's how I have also this mission to empower more and more women so that they can transform many families as well. So you are such a family, you are such a woman who is in fact transforming many others' life as well.
I'm so blessed that I have this channel, I have this platform, and just like you mentioned, God is channelizing these messages through us. And वो बात है ना कि नमक जब खाना बन रहा होता है तब डलता है तो ज़्यादा स्वाद लगता है, खाना डलने के बाद ऊपर से डालो तो उतना स्वाद नहीं लगता है.
Yes.
सो ये पूरे पॉडकास्ट का क्रक्स मुझे उसी बात में दिखा कि व्हेन द बेबी इज़ इन द वूम्ब, द क्वालिटीज़ एंड द मेहनत दैट वी डू आफ्टर the baby is born, in that race of getting the child into the best of schools and best of tutors and best with the best of toys and best of clothes, and I think that time we need to invest a little early.
Yes.
And invest those time and efforts and make priority and do that in those 9 months. और मुझे ये भी बात कहनी है कि I also got a little shift inside me while through this conversation. I was not very baby oriented girl. That okay, I never knew that the journey of motherhood is such a responsible thing. I knew, but the depth that I understood through this conversation is different. So thank you for that, and I really hope the audience could grasp all those juices from our conversation.
Definitely. Means a lot. Thank you so much, Anchal. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू चंद्रा. कुछ ऐसी कॉन्वर्सेशंस होती है ना जो आपको सरप्राइज कर देती है. आई थिंक दिस वाज वन ऑफ दोज कॉन्वर्सेशंस जिसने मुझे पूरी तरीके से चौंका दिया. ये बात मुझे पता तो थी दैट आवर इंडियन कल्चर हैज़ सच प्रोफाउंड नॉलेज एंड स्किल्स, मगर इस बात की रियलाइजेशन डॉक्टर चंद्रलेखा ने इस कॉन्वर्सेशन के थ्रू मुझे फिर से करा दी दैट आवर इंडियन कल्चर इज़ सो पावरफुल. आई मीन इमेजिन करके देखो यार, अगर ये स्किल हम सब ग्लोबल लेवल पर इम्प्लीमेंट करें, देन वी विल बी एबल टू प्रोड्यूस अ जनरेशन ऑफ जीनियसेस. इजंट दिस अमेजिंग? आई टोटली एंजॉयड दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन. मैंने पूरी कोशिश की है कि मैं इस कॉन्वर्सेशन के थ्रू आपके सारे डाउट्स क्लैरिफाई कर सकूं. अगर नहीं हुए हैं तो प्लीज़ डू लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन बिलो कि आपके क्या डाउट्स हैं, एंड हम डॉक्टर चंद्रलेखा के साथ उसे सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करेंगे. एंड ऑल्सो थैंक यू सो वेरी मच फॉर सपोर्टिंग होकस फोकस विद आंचल. आपके सपोर्ट का मुझे ज़रूरत भी है, एंड आई एम ग्रेटफुल ऑल्सो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब टू आवर न्यू चैनल होकस फोकस शॉर्ट्स, and I will keep coming up with more magical and valuable episodes on every Thursday 7 p.m.